It's 2 a.m. and you're awake, staring at a ceiling, phone dimmed on the nightstand, wondering what's wrong with you. Every wellness app on your phone tells you the same thing: 8 hours, unbroken, or your body is failing. Here's the disruption. That assumption is built on almost nothing. In 2015, a neuroscientist at UCLA named Jerome Siegel led a study that strapped sleep tracking devices onto members of 3 hunter-gatherer and pre-industrial societies: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Tsimane of Bolivia, groups living without electricity, screens, or scheduled bedtime. Siegel's team expected to find the natural sleep pattern humans had lost. What they found instead: these groups slept an average of just 6.4 hours a night, not more than the industrialized world, less. That single number upends a story you've probably heard repeated as fact: that ancient humans, freed from artificial light, must have slept longer, deeper, and more peacefully than you do now. This is going to change how you think about every restless night you've ever had, because what nighttime actually did to ancient humans wasn't rest, it was risk management. And your body may still be running that program. To understand what was really happening after dark, you have to look past how long ancient humans slept and start looking at when, and here the data gets stranger fast. In 2017, an anthropologist at the University of Toronto named David Sampson took Siegel's findings a step further. Sampson tracked the Hadza in Tanzania across a full lunar cycle and found something no industrialized sleep study had ever detected. Total sleep time shifted by roughly 30 minutes depending on how bright the moon was that night. On nights near the full moon, when visibility was highest, the Hadza went to bed later and slept less. Sampson's conclusion was direct. Moonlight wasn't just ambient light, it was a nightly risk signal, something the body was still tracking on a 29.5-day cycle, inherited from a time when darkness itself was the primary predator of the species. But sleep timing wasn't the strangest pattern Sampson found. It was the gaps. Across every group he studied, almost no one in the camp was ever fully asleep at the same time. Sampson's data showed that across a given night, at least one adult was awake and alert during 99.8% of the recorded hours. Not because of insomnia, because sleep itself was staggered, different individuals waking at different points, creating a rolling shift of low-level vigilance that lasted from dusk until dawn night after night without anyone consciously organizing it. That's not the whole story, though, because staggered waking on its own doesn't explain why humans, alone among primates, sleep in a single consolidated block instead of scattered naps across the day and night, a pattern chimpanzees and gorillas don't share. Something about nighttime specifically was different for early humans, and the first hard clue about what that something was came not from a sleep lab, but from a cave in South Africa, 1 million years old. In 2012, a team led by archaeologist Francesco Berna at Boston University examined burnt bone fragments and ash deposits inside Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa's Northern Cape. Using microscopic analysis of the sediment layers, Berna's team confirmed controlled fire use dating back roughly 1 million years, at the time the oldest solid evidence of hominins deliberately managing flame. This wasn't a campfire in the modern sense. It was a survival technology, and its timing mattered as much as its existence. Fire didn't just provide warmth. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham at Harvard University has argued that controlled fire fundamentally restructured the human night, pushing back the moment danger became most acute, because large nocturnal predators, including lions and hyenas, show a measurable, consistent avoidance of open flame. For the first time, early humans could push activity later, extend the safe portion of the night, and sleep in a single, longer, more vulnerable stretch, but only inside a ring of light that had to be built, fed, and watched. Except there was a problem with fire as protection. It solved the predator threat and created a new one: visibility. A fire that keeps lions away also announces your exact location to every other human group within kilometers. Anthropologists studying modern forager societies, including the Hadza, have documented camps deliberately shifting sleeping locations, sometimes nightly, avoiding a fixed home base specifically to control who could find them in the dark, which means the staggered waking Sampson measured, the shorter total sleep Siegel recorded, and the fire Berna dated back 1 million years all point toward the same underlying system: not a body clock optimized for rest, but a body clock optimized for coverage, someone alert at every hour, a flame that had to be maintained but not too visible, a location that couldn't stay still for long. Sleep, for most of human history, wasn't a shutdown. It was a rotating watch. You still carry the wiring for that watch. The reason a strange noise pulls you instantly out of deep sleep while familiar background sound doesn't isn't a flaw. It's a system built across roughly 300,000 years of nights, where the difference between the two sounds was the difference between waking up and not waking up at all. 8 consolidated, uninterrupted hours was never the ancestral baseline. Vigilance was. You just call it insomnia now.